Has this ever happened to you? You're wandering in the wasteland when you come upon a skirmish. A rad scorpion and a protectron have taken up arms against each other, completely separate from you, the player. Or how about this? You come across the carcass of a mole rat you didn't kill. Well, who did? This scene plays out all across the wasteland, and may have you wondering,
is the world of Fallout 3 alive?
I know that's a big question, but I want to know, does Fallout 3 exist, progress, and function without the player? Most games try to keep the world and action centered around you, the player, for a number of reasons. Mostly, it's so that the game isn't expending processing power to something that you won't experience yourself. It's also because it's a lot more fun to be a part of a huge firefight than it is to stumble upon the remains of some epic battle. But Fallout 3 is more than happy to have the game exist outside of your player character. NPCs chat.
Let's move it out.
Okay then.
Fight. And patrols move around the wastes, all while your back is turned. It's almost as if we aren't the main character in the story and are rather just another person existing and surviving in the world. But before I get ahead of myself, I want to talk about the NPCs of Fallout 3. You love them, you hate them, and sometimes you just want them to shut the fuck. Fallout 3's NPCs are some of the most interesting NPCs in gaming. They don't always act how you would think they're supposed to. So why do NPCs fight each other regardless of you, the player? Does your dad actually run all the way to Rivet City? Who wins in a fight between your dad, a bloatfly, a mole rat, a rad scorpion, and a yaogwai? What's going on here? Where do these patrols actually go? What does a caravan guard do when their caravan dies? Does the trader really trade? All of that's to ask, is the world of Fallout 3 alive? Let's find out together. Don't talk about the fact that a bunch of people thought you were wearing boxers in your last video. Over 200,000 thought that. Don't think about it. Don't let everyone else know you're thinking about it. Damn it. Now, in order to answer these questions, we're gonna have to observe them. But it's not possible to make a video following NPCs around in Fallout 3 without bringing up Any Austin's video doing just that. Any Austin, popular YouTube and Bureau of Labor Statistic enthusiast, put out a video following a few NPCs around the capital wasteland. I did want to bring it up because it was in part an inspiration for this video. That video is awesome, so if you're itching for more intricate deep dives into the world of NPCs, Any Austin has you covered. Now this tiny grain of rice is a caravan guard, who, for the sake of this video, we'll call Caravan Guard. He has just lost his caravan trader to a super mutant behemoth. I believe some hooligan shot out the electric gate and freed the behemoth. With nothing to guard anymore, Caravan Guard takes off running northeast away from the entrance of Evergreen Mills towards Drury Street Metro Station. He gets onto this road here and runs to this intersection where he turns right, then immediately left. He realizes he's gone the wrong way and turns around, getting back on the road and continuing east past the Drury Street Metro entrance and Dot's Diner. He keeps right at the fork, and it's here that Caravan Guard meets his first NPC, an Enclave Eyebot. He pays no attention to it and continues down the road to the southeast. He passes the military checkpoint and this interestingly placed floating tree stump in the middle of the road. Left or right? Okay, just in the middle of the dirt. It's our first enemy, the mole rat.
Where?
He mag dumps into it immediately. He hops back on the road, heading in the direction of Megaton, finds a scorpion and kills it, and continues following the road past Vault 101 and down towards Springvale. He takes a fight with Sam Warwick and ends up killing Sam with a grenade, but only after suffering some pretty drastic damages. Continuing through Springvale, passing by another Eyebot, and passing the exit towards Megaton, he keeps on the road east towards the Super Duper Mart when he encounters a lone Enclave soldier. They engage, and in his last moments of life, he pulls out a grenade, throws it, dies, and the grenade goes off, exploding the car next to it, killing the Enclave soldier in the blast. Honestly, not a bad life for a Fallout 3 NPC. It would have been interesting to see where he would have ended up if I had protected him, but I wanted to be a bit impartial, so I left him up to his own devices. So, that's our first NPC mapped. Let's do a few more. I found a group of Brotherhood Outcasts, essentially the emo versions of the Brotherhood from the hit TV show Fallout. They looked like they were in a heated battle with a Mr. Gutsy robot at a military checkpoint near Smith Casey's garage. There was only one lone Brotherhood Outcast survivor, and after some rude comments,
"Hey, local, shouldn't you be banging rocks together or something?"
he marched down the road north towards Little Lamplight. He made quick work of a few mole rats, and right after that fight was finished, I noticed a Robo-Brain blasting it out with an Enclave Eyebot in the distance. A Protectron snuck up on us, and the Brotherhood Outcast mowed it down. The Robo-Brain killed the Eyebot and turned its attention to the Outcast. After trading a few shots, the Brotherhood Outcast went to reload, running headfirst at the Robo-Brain, and immediately died. I guess the one piece of technology he missed was the one that made him better at fighting. Now, in these interactions, there were multiple fights between characters I had no interactions with. So, why did that happen? Now, a disclaimer. I am not a coder. I don't know how the inner workings of this game works, nor will I pretend like I know the minute detail of why a Bethesda NPC does what they do. These are my observations and not inner workings of the code. Non-path NPCs, aka NPCs that wander around in an area as opposed to having a specific path to follow like a trader or a patrol, have 3 invisible rings around them. The first ring is their aggression ring, or the distance from the NPC in which they will attack you from. The second ring is the wander ring, the general area they may wander around in. And the third ring is the boundary ring, the maximum distance that the NPC can travel away from their spawn point. The aggression ring is something that everybody has encountered in game. It's where you go from hidden to caution/danger, and I observed the boundary ring with multiple instances of NPCs turning around and walking away mid-fight if I got too far from their spawn point. So, this might help explain why some NPCs seem to fight completely separate from you, the player character. If a Rad Scorpion is here and a Protectron is here, and they both happen to get to the far ends of the Wander Ring at the same time, they might cross into each other's aggro ring, causing a fight. Now, the wiki has a really complex and dizzying page about encounters, each with strict parameters that trigger some of the fights in the Wasteland to occur. I think these may account for some of the fights you might stumble across, but so many one-off fights happen so naturally and organically in-game, it seems impossible that they're all scripted. But, nonetheless, if you have a better grasp on why NPCs behave the way that they do towards others, the player character, or by themselves, chime off in the comments with your best interpretation of the extremely complex code of the AI of Fallout 3 NPCs. Okay. I'm sorry, but the idea that the Washington, D.C. Mall and Georgetown would be overrun by stupid hulking creatures there to terrorize the people who visit and live there is just, honestly, it's not very realistic. Hard to suspend my disbelief on that one, Bethesda. Piper, what do you think of the Fallout 3 NPCs? If you've traveled the Wastes, you've probably come across an Enclave Eyebot before. This is a non-hostile NPC to the player in almost every instance outside of Enclave checkpoints set up throughout the Capital Wasteland in the second half of the game, but unlike normal non-hostile NPCs, Eyebots are targeted by many other NPCs as enemies, making them slightly unique. These Eyebots are all over the Wasteland, and I wanted to know if they go anywhere specific. So, I found one wandering around near VAPL 58 Power Station and followed it for a while. It kinda did a bit of a weird triangle-shaped path. I thought they floated freely around the Wasteland, so it was interesting to observe the very small path they actually inhabit. If you're wondering who wins in a fight between a Yaoguai and an Eyebot, it's really an interesting fight. It's the bear. The bear also beats Rad Scorpion, and even Robo-Brain. 2 Talon Company versus a Robo-Brain? Robo-Brain gets smacked. What about 3 Talon Company against 2 Yaoguai? The Yaoguai win. A Mirelurk and a Protectron? Protectron gets one shot, to be honest. A Mirelurk Hunter against a Robo-Brain? Mirelurk Hunter by a long shot. How about a Mirelurk Hunter versus a Mr. Gutsy? Well, the Mr. Gutsy makes a truck explode, so it does end up clearing the Mirelurk Hunter. Oh, but a Rad Scorpion is joining in with a metal chair. The Rad Scorpion takes off some good chunks from the Mr. Gutsy, but the Gutsy ends up on top. Another Eyebot. Let's see where it goes. So this one goes down here and gets blown up. Okay. A Super Mutant Brute versus 3 Raiders? Surprisingly enough, the Raiders take him out. Honestly, would have thought it went the other way. The Raiders are kind of fucking up these Super Mutants, not gonna lie. Wait, do Rad Roaches and Super Mutants fight each other? Nope, I guess not. This eyebot is just minding its own business. Oh, and it's a giant scorpion with a metal chair? Okay. Now who wins in a matchup between a Yaoguai and a giant rad scorpion? It's gotta be the rad scorpion, right? With the poison and everything? Oh, I guess not. Yaoguai got hands, I suppose. Super Mutant and Yaoguai?
Loser drops out.
2 Protectrons versus a rad scorpion 5 miles away. Rad scorpion loses and falls through the map as punishment. Okay. How about 3 Talon Company mercs versus a Caravan trader and guard? The Caravan actually claps the Talon Company. Not sure what this guy's plans were. So, as we've seen, the fights you might encounter in the Wasteland aren't as cut and dry as you might expect. For example, raiders will attack and kill Caravan traders and their guards, but they won't attack the pack Brahmin the Caravan has. The way that NPCs react to Talon Company is also perplexing. Sometimes, NPCs go out of their way to attack Talon Company, and other times, other characters avoid them like the plague. So, whatever rules these NPCs might follow, I think some of them have more specific behaviors than others. Okay, back to mapping. Now, for anyone watching that hasn't beaten the game yet, I will be getting into spoiler territory for a 17-year-old video game, so if you're really holding out for that remaster, I'd suggest playing through the game before continuing this video. Okay. Let's talk about Dad. He's a named NPC with specific importance to the main quest of the game, and is therefore marked as one of the few unkillable characters in game. When his health reaches 0, he goes into an unconscious state, and wakes up after a few moments with full health again. It's a bit of a cop-out for getting around the very real problem of telling a story when all the NPCs are killable. Shout out to Fallout New Vegas, baby! Anyways, when you free your dad from Vault 112, he says to meet him in Rivet City. Normally, you'd just fast travel, but if you don't have any plans for the afternoon and really want to waste your time watching an NPC struggle to fight a bloatfly for 5 minutes, you can follow your dad as he walks from Vault 112 all the way to Rivet City, fighting every single hostile NPC in the Wasteland on the way. We'll start at Vault 112 where we— Whoa, hey, wait up! Jesus, he's fast. After leaving the garage, Dad heads to the road and turns south. He's greeted by 2 mole rats almost immediately and runs out of 32 pistol ammo after the first one. A rad scorpion joins in, making it for some of the worst fighting in gaming history. I realize that neither of them will win before the sun burns out and kills us all, so I killed the rad scorpion so we could move on. Continuing along the road, Dad brings fists to a laser fight, and we follow this dirt path through the mountains and southwest towards Tenpenny Tower. But not before getting
sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
I watched Dad from afar as he fought a bloatfly. When I got there were 2 vicious dogs, a robo-brain, and 2 bloatflies. Honestly, don't even know how he found so many enemies. Okay, we're back on path. Dad runs across the field to the parking lot of the Robco factory and takes the road for a short time before veering off-road. Another rad scorpion shows up. He finds another bloatfly to fight, then a mole rat. I attract the attention of a Yaoguai as well and add him into the mix. Remember that question I asked at the beginning? Well, here's the answer. It's not Dad. The Yaoguai kills the rad scorpion and leaves the bloatfly and the mole rat alone to attack me. Honestly, seems a bit like teaming. Refs? What's the rules on teaming? We continue east, connecting with a road that takes us to Andale.
That's the way you want it.
Oh great, another bloatfly and mole rat. I hear some shots in the distance, and wanting to see what's happening, veer off myself to see what the commotion is. It's a fight between a raider and a rad scorpion. I go back to find Dad standing over the bodies of the mole rat and the bloatfly. We pass by the Nuka-Cola plant and hop onto a larger highway to the southwest of the Citadel.
That's the way you want it.
He fights a raider who begins to flee. It must mean that he's almost dead. Nope, he's at half health. Dad takes fists to a gun, knife, and grenade fight. We continue down the highway east towards the Arlington Library, run north along the beach of the Citadel, and cross the bridge. 2 super mutants are spawned at the pedestrian bridge. One of them decides on hand-to-hand combat and attacks Dad from the air. Honestly, I've never seen that happen before. We continue along the street, across the bridge, around the memorial, and get back onto the road leading towards Rivet City.
That's the way you want it.
Dad takes one last fight and attacks some super mutants holding a person hostage. After a long and boring battle, and multiple naps later, Dad emerges victorious. I go up and free the hostage, and knowing Dad would probably stay put, I followed the slave to see where she would go. She ran back the same direction we had just come from, following a similar path along the waterfront, across the bridge, past the Citadel, around past the library, and up the highway towards the flooded metro station. When she got to these buses, she stopped and stood in place. I tried to push her out of the way, but she would just run back to the same spot. There was a group of raiders nearby doing,
Pain is your only friend.
Not sure what they're doing, but I thought maybe she was afraid of them, so I saved and killed them all. When I returned, she was still there, unmoving, so I reloaded the save and instigated the raiders to see if maybe she was attacked, she would flee in another direction. Okay, that didn't work very well. Well, I guess she's just waiting to catch her bus. Oh well. I returned to Dad, who followed the last few paces up to Rivet City, across the bridge, and into the ship. And if you're wondering what the map looks like, here it is. Honestly, it was a pretty insane distance to travel. I found a Brotherhood Outcast patrol out near Vault 108 in the Corvega factory and followed them south. They moved so incredibly slow, I will be showing some of these at 50 times speed. They followed the road to a Red Rocket gas station. They turned left before that, continuing south. We came across some slavers. I will come back to them. They found an Enclave Eyebot and beat the shit out of it.
Ah, sweet! Man-made horrors beyond my comprehension.
What was that? Probably nothing. After following the road south and turning left here, they turned off the road and crossed the highway, running into some raiders near the Friendship Heights metro station. The fight was between 3 outcasts and 5 or 6 raiders. The raiders killed 1 outcast, but they were wiped out in the process. After the fighting finished, the Brotherhood Outcasts regrouped and headed down the escalators into the metro station. When I went in, they had disappeared, similar to Annie Austin's findings of one of the slaves he freed running into a nearby metro station and vanishing. I went back to the slavers and followed them around in circles for a bit. Finally, they moved on down the hill north towards the Corvega plant. One of the slavers got ahead of the other and was actually ambushed by 3 runaway slaves. They were all quickly killed as they had lead pipes and he had a 10mm submachine gun.
You bastard!
But it really does make the game feel alive to see slavers on the hunt for runaway slaves and the slaves trying to ambush them to win their freedom. I believe I even saw the slaver looting the dead slaves at one point. That immersiveness is kind of insane. They doodled around these rocks for a bit, getting attacked by a rad scorpion, before heading towards the Corvega plant. Surprisingly, they got in a fight with some Talon Company, which seems off-brand for slavers as they both feed off negative karma actions in-game. They turned down into the small town west of the factory. Even Piper hates slavers. I noticed a second set of Brotherhood Outcasts over near one of the houses. I brought a Mr. Gutsy over to see how it would react to the slavers. It did not like them and killed them both. The Mr. Gutsy then attacked the Outcasts, and they made quick work of it. The Outcasts didn't last long, as I accidentally got the attention of a feral ghoul Reaver, the most powerful ghoul in Fallout 3. The 3 didn't stand a chance. I noticed some commotion going on down near an Enclave checkpoint. Apparently, they had a Deathclaw that, when they released, immediately turned on them and killed all of the Enclave soldiers. Honestly, pretty based Deathclaw. You want to see who wins between a Deathclaw and a feral ghoul Reaver? And down goes the Reaver. I loaded back to a previous save to see if it would be the same outcome, and when I did, I spawned into a giant rad scorpion. Now, I'm sure I would have noticed a rad scorpion here before. When I reloaded the game decided to roll some RNG dice and see what popped up, which is crazy because I assumed all spawns are set in stone, but apparently you can get things to spawn that haven't before. Always learning something new. The Reaver and the Deathclaw fight went about the same as last time. I tried this save a few more times, and every time the fight ended up different. This time the Deathclaw died to the Enclave before it could attack the Reaver, so the Reaver killed the Enclave.
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
Or this time when the Deathclaw died to the Reaver, and the Reaver died to the missile launcher Enclave soldier. And another time where the Deathclaw killed all but one Enclave, fought the Reaver, got killed by the last Enclave soldier, then the Brotherhood Outcast joined in and killed the Reaver, then all of them blew up. Except this guy. Good for him. It's so interesting to me that these fights could have turned out so differently between saves. I watched this fight play out 5 times, and each time, the NPCs chose to do something different or fought differently that led to totally separate outcomes. There is one NPC that I've wanted to follow since finding a map of their supposed path on the wiki. The traders. I wanted to see if traders really did go all the way around the map. Here's the map I found, which shows them stopping at all of the major hubs around the Wasteland. I know you can wait at a trader location, like outside Megaton or Rivet City, and eventually the same trader will show up. And I know that you can bump into them along the road, but I did want to see for myself whether these guys really did go all the way around the map. So I started at the bottom of the map, Rivet City, and waited for the first trader to show up. Lucky Harith arrived with a single caravan guard and a pack Brahmin. They waited for 2 hours in game, then began their journey. We headed west towards the Jefferson Memorial, found a Brotherhood soldier burning mirelurks at the edge of the water, something that I don't think happens before you beat the game, so a cool minor detail. We walked around the monument, noticing an Aqua Pura filling station. When you beat the game, the Brotherhood and Rivet City set up water stations where they begin shipping out water across the wasteland. I haven't played a ton of post-game content, so I don't really know much about them, but damn sure I was going to eventually follow them. Taking the long way around, I see, we came upon a group of super mutants in one of the bombed out buildings. I took the hands-off approach I had been doing with my other NPC follows, and the caravan guard is already dead. I realized quickly it wasn't going to work if everyone died before we made it out of DC, so after Lucky died, I restarted, this time playing the role of a second guard to the caravan. We continued past the pedestrian bridge and across the Potomac, heading south along the side of the Citadel. Seemingly out of nowhere, Lucky takes off in a sprint and heads south towards the riverboat landing. He makes it to the edge of the map, turns around, and sprints into the water. After a few minutes and an extremely bizarre encounter,
Looking for that special something?
we head east through the ruins and land ourselves in the middle of a Talon Company encampment, complete with a sentry bot that blows Lucky's legs off. We make it back to the Citadel, and instead of running off like a lunatic, Lucky continues around the bend on the highway towards the Arlington Library and the Alexandria Arms Building. An Enclave vertibird lands near us, and knowing how friendly they are, I laid out some presents for them. We continued around the highway east. I forgot about this raider on the bridge, and he took some chunks out of Lucky's health. Unfortunately, that's health he'll never get back, because I can't get him to heal himself. Wait, where's the caravan guard? Oh, thank God. Some Talon Company mercs were making some raider barbecue. We kept heading down the highway east, passing the Nuka-Cola plant towards Andale. I stumbled upon what seemed like a mutiny where 3 Enclave soldiers had killed their commanding officer and started doing push-ups. Honestly, respect. We headed towards Andale, and so far, the map wasn't very far off from where we were going. At the semi-truck, we turned down the road towards the raider encampment. We cut across under the highway and up the hill towards Fairfax. When we got to Fairfax, I saw more raiders and took them on. I saw the missile launcher come out, turned around, and watched the past hour slip through my fingers. I forgot to save. After a reload, I found the 3 swole Enclave soldiers, but this time, they were all dead. Now, this isn't one of those creepypasta horror videos, but it is very unsettling to have seen these guys in a previous save now dead from some unknown cause. Maybe another enemy? Maybe it was just their time? I'm not sure why, but it does leave you feeling a bit uneasy. I found a group of Brotherhood Outcasts in this new save, so I followed them to see what path they took. Sorry, Lucky. It was pretty quick, but I realized they just went up and down the hill in between the semi-truck and the Enclave outposts. I waited just to be sure, but they just loop in this area. I saw a Wastelander out in the distance, so to get even more sidetracked, I followed him for a while. He went up here and attacked a Rad Scorpion. He was quickly put to rest. Alright, quick. Robobrain versus 2 Rad Scorpions. Rad Scorpions win. Bit of a surprise. I reloaded again because I wanted to see what happened if the Enclave soldiers were around when the Brotherhood Outcasts come down the hill. When I got to the junction, they were still alive.
I've got nothing to say to Wastelander scum like you.
The Aqua Pura caravan had caught up, Lucky's caravan had gotten there, and the Brotherhood Outcasts were there. I counted 13 NPCs in the vicinity, 14 with the Wastelander to the south, and 2 raiders to the north, making 16 total NPCs. The Brotherhood Outcasts didn't respond like I wanted them to, so I provoked an Enclave soldier, he attacked them, yada yada yada, and the explosions killed everyone but the sentry bot. The sentry bot got onto the road south of Fairfax and headed west along it until it ended up at Fort Independence, which, if you can believe, is the freaking base of the Brotherhood Outcasts. I was actually blown away that the game would have this level of detail for the Outcast Sentry bot to get in a fight, lose its soldiers, head north, and find its way home. Truly peak immersion. And then it turned around and headed back down the road again. Okay, never mind. It headed into Fairfax, killed a few of the raiders, turned back around, went back towards the base, came back into Fairfax, killed some more raiders, and finally got killed in battle in Fairfax. Okay, back to Lucky and his caravan. We made it to Fairfax, and I cleared out all of the danger, including a few landmines the old-fashioned way. The caravan made its way left at the first intersection, and right at the second, heading towards Megaton. I watched a Yao Guai gore some tourists, and followed the winding road north. The caravan made its way past Vault 101, through Springvale, and east past the turnoff of Megaton. According to the map, that's one of the stops, but it looks like we aren't stopping here yet. I ran into another Enclave outpost and took care of them, but the car behind me was hit and almost made lasagna of my trader. With 2 HP bars left, I had to be careful. We made our way past the Super Duper Mart and across the Potomac, not at the convenient and fully functioning bridge, but rather at the shallow area under the overpass. You ever see a pack Brahmin swim? Me neither, because it just teleports across the water. We headed towards Farragut West Metro Station when I noticed the pack Brahmin was stuck. I couldn't get it unstuck, so we traveled on. We headed up the road and followed it across a few highways to another road heading north. The pack Brahmin decided to join us again. We headed north for a while, passing by Bethesda Ruins, and turned off the main road to head east past the Wheaton Armory. I went in to clear out some raiders and, god damn it, I cleared them out and followed the caravan east along this road here. Okay. I watched a group of giant ants attack an Enclave outpost, and it looks to me like the ants absolutely mopped the floor with them. Now, at this intersection, the caravan could go either way, north to the Temple of the Union, or east to Canterbury Commons. Looks like we're going east. We cut across this big field, headed up the road, and finally made it to our first stop, of 7. 8 if you include finishing back at Rivet City. We waited for 2 hours, in-game of course, and hit the road. It was a pretty straight shot up to the Temple of the Union. We waited another 2 hours and headed back down south. A group of hunters were ahead of us, so I caught up with them and drew their path. They didn't make it far. Lucky asked an Eyebot if it wanted to trade.
Looking to make a trade?
We continued past Wheaton Armory, turned back onto the road, and headed south. We turned right at this junction and headed west. I cleared out some Enclave, but by the time I finished, the caravan had moved over the hill to a group of raiders who had murdered Lucky in cold blood. The caravan guard I was with finished off the raiders and began running back from where we came from. I decided to follow her as I did the first caravan guard to see what she did different. She got into a few fights, followed the same path back towards the Canterbury Commons, and ended up in town, dashing into Ernest Uncle Rose's house. Thinking I'd be faced with another disappearance, I was surprised to see that she was in there. She sat at the bottom of the stairs and stopped moving. I talked with her, and she gave me some basic caravan guard lines.
I'm just here to protect them, everything will be fine.
I waited a few hours, and she didn't move from the spot. I guess this is just where her story ends. I loaded back in to take better care of my caravan when I heard a series of Gatling lasers fired from the north. I checked in to find a group of Brotherhood Outcasts attacking a pack of raiders outside of the scrapyard. I watched them for a while, and they were another group of loopers, going back and forth between the west edge of scrapyard and the downed monorail train to the east. While following these outcasts, I came across another group of Brotherhood Outcasts. I followed them for a while as well. They headed towards Canterbury Commons, but turned north at the Temple of the Union. They went under the highway, got spooked by some raiders, and got into a fight where one of the 2 soldiers died. The remaining soldier split off from his Protectron partner and began walking down the road south. After encountering a few Enclave Eyebots, he ran into an actual Enclave patrol and was quickly killed. I knew that the robot was going to take an enormous time to follow, so I saved the hassle and went back to the main crew. The caravan followed the hills west and up to Agatha's house, another stop on their route. After 2 hours, on schedule, the caravan set off to the northeast. We went left and followed the road west for a good bit. We turned off the road here and went north, After setting up shop outside of the northwest corner of Paradise Falls, we headed southeast, crossing a dried riverbed and connecting to the road above. We followed another road west for a bit before heading south down to a dried up bed of the Potomac. We headed onto a road next to a large parking lot and took it west to the 5-axle rest stop intersection. After heading south along the road, we ran into an Enclave outpost and I died. Okay, that's not an issue. We'll just reload a close save.
If I had one! Sorry.
And we're back in Paradise Falls. Okay. We passed Rockbreaker's last gas, where the outpost was, and continued south all the way to Fort Bannister. Outside of the fort, we found a few Brotherhood of Steel soldiers waiting to attack the Talon Company at the fort. I also found a lone slaver walking near the road as well. And even further south was a group of Brotherhood outcasts that seemed to be fighting some super mutants. The slaver walked north up the road from where we came from, looping in this area here. As for the Brotherhood of Steel soldiers, there are two possibilities for what they do. To the south of them is the Brotherhood Outcast Patrol. So when I tell the Brotherhood of Steel to charge into the fort, their first objective is usually to fight the outcasts. If they win, one of them snipes at the front of the fort and two flank from the side, usually wiping out the Talon Company at the fort. But most of the time, they just get wiped out by the Brotherhood Outcasts before they even make it to the fort. Following the Brotherhood Outcasts, they finish their fight with the super mutants and the Brotherhood of Steel, turn around and head back south, and follow the road around the bend towards Jury Street Metro Station. When they get near Jury Street Metro, I notice Lucky and the Caravan fighting some raiders perched on a rooftop across from the diner. Lucky dies immediately. Some Talon Company mercs spawn in behind the diner, the Brotherhood Outcasts join in on the fight, and a group of Enclave soldiers spawn in on the hill to the north of the metro station. No one really seems to care about Talon Company, so I kill them. The Enclave soldiers get stuck in some sort of pacifist state and die to the Caravan guard, who then runs east, getting caught by an Enclave outpost and dying to the soldiers stationed there. But because she interacted with the Enclave, the officer unlocks a Deathclaw cage in the encampment, and the Deathclaw immediately turns on the Enclave, killing everyone. I continued following the patrol east here towards Vault 101. A bit of overkill. Past Vault 101, through Springvale, past the turnoff to Megaton, east to the back of the Super Duper Mart, across the Potomac, and at this point, it was probably 2+ hours into following some of the slowest NPCs in-game. So I shot these super mutants who absolutely eviscerated the outcasts. The fight at the diner and Jury Street Metro Station had a lot of moving parts, so I wanted to watch it again to see if anything changes. I came back to see that the raiders had killed Lucky again, the Talon Company members got into a fight with some mad Brahmin that spawned south of town, the Enclave Patrol killed the Caravan guard this time, the Outcasts killed the raiders on the roof, the Enclave killed the last Talon Company and turned to wipe out the Brotherhood Outcasts. A very different outcome than last time. Back to our caravan, and I loaded back to an even more insane meetup of NPCs than the famous Andale meetup of 2025. The slaver walked by as I checked in on the Brotherhood Outcasts, who were like always, fighting a super mutant. They kill the mutant and take a fight with the Brotherhood, who end up wiping them out. There's an explosion at the fort. Paladin Jensen, who's being held captive, has broken loose and kills a Protectron. The other 3 Talon Company turn on him, killing him with a missile. The 2 Aqua Pura pack Brahmins seem unbothered in the commotion. The Brotherhood of Steel gets involved, killing a few of the Talon Company at the front gate. All while this is happening, a lone dog tries to kill our caravan. It's truly one of the most chaotic fights I've ever witnessed in a video game, and besides telling the Brotherhood to fight, I had nothing to do with it. In total, I counted 20 NPCs in the vicinity. Anyways, around the curve, we head the same way past Jury Street Metro Station, staying on the main road east towards Big Town. I watched a Deathclaw take out an Enclave soldier and a sentry bot. This Enclave soldier seemed to have defected to our side, but didn't have much to say. While I was busy with the Enclave soldier, I didn't notice the Deathclaw from before sneaking up on my caravan and dismembering my squad. Come on. After a reload, we follow the road north, bypass Big Town, head west here, and oh shit, there are Talon Company hiding at this bridge. I sure hope Lucky doesn't... Okay, after taking care of them and the raiders at Kalen's B&B, we head towards the... God damn it. Okay, third time's a charm. And we made it to the southern entrance of Arafu. I saw a vertibird bringing Enclave soldiers in, so you know what that means. More sidetracking by bullshit. In order to follow the Enclave soldiers without them attacking me, I have to stay pretty far away and hidden from them. They land around here and head east along the road we came from, cutting across the field here to go south. They follow the road, take on a giant rad scorpion, and one of them gets fucked. The lone survivor continues southeast on the road, takes it left towards Vault 101, and comes up to 2 sentry bots who clap those Enclave cheeks. Okay, back to business. After Arafu, the caravan cuts across a field east and heads back towards Big Town. Back west through Jury Street Metro, and this time, we turn south towards Evergreen Mills.
Yes?
As we got close, I found a Wastelander who... What the fuck? Dude just Minecraft creepered me. Wait, who's that? A raider? There's another one. Oh shit, it's an ambush. What the fuck? This feels like a scripted event. Fallout 3 never ceases to amaze me. A full ambush over some cliffs with a Wastelander rigged with a bomb. Actually insane how organic this felt. This encounter may have been the human bomb from the wiki, but the Wastelander never talked to me, and the wiki says it involves 3 raiders, not 6. After wiping them out, Lucky sets up shop for a few hours before moving on, getting back on the same road to the east and following it back to Jury Street Metro. What did I just say? Fallout 3 never ceases to amaze me. Yeah. The caravan headed past Jury Street Metro, up the hill towards Vault 101, through Springvale, and finally turned off at the Megaton turnoff, setting up camp outside of the Megaton entrance. So now we have officially hit all of the stops along the trading route, but we still need to see if the trader goes back to the start and does it all again. Out of Megaton, through Springvale, up the hill, down the hill, south this time towards Fairfax, killed some raiders, killed some Enclave, more raiders at Fairfax, and wiped out all existence of raiders in Fairfax before the caravan arrived. Oh shit, I forgot one. Well, it looks like the caravan guard will be walking from Fairfax to Rivet City on a broken leg. Following the road south, passing under the overpass, and watching a huge firefight between the Brotherhood Outcasts patrol along the road leading to Andale and the Enclave outpost. Looks like a fun fight. Too bad I'm all the way over here. We continue past the Nuka-Cola plant, along the highway, east past the flooded metro, past the library, past the Citadel, across the bridge, south to the Jefferson Memorial, and up the hill to Rivet City. One full loop around most of the map, and it only took like 15 hours of following a single NPC at walking speed the entire time. I ended up following a few other NPCs around and found that the Aqua Pura pack Brahmin back near Rivet City actually follows a separate route from the trader route. Long story short, emphasis on long, this is the path they travel. Their final destination is in front of the Republic of Dave, way in the furthest northeast spot on the map. Unfortunately, they didn't really do anything when they got there, just kind of turned around and went back the exact way they came from, ending at the Jefferson Memorial Aqua Pura station. They do pass quite a few places that theoretically need water, but they only stopped at the Republic of Dave, so I'm not sure if passing the other settlements was supposed to be alluding to the caravan taking water to those places too. Your guess is as good as mine. So, I present to you the living world of Fallout 3's NPCs. I'd say that there are very few other games that do a better job of selling you the idea that this world that you inhabit actually grows, adapts, and exists with or without you. Creatures fight, NPCs move and talk and guard and flee. You could have over 13 different friendly NPCs all in one spot doing different things, heading to different places, all with their own objectives and goals. Not so different from you, the player. The NPCs of Fallout 3 exist because you exist. But once they exist, they treat you as they would anyone else in the Wasteland. You are simultaneously the most important person in their world and just another passing Wastelander. It was also so interesting to see how the same fight could play out in so many different ways depending on tiny changes to how an NPC might approach a fight or an interaction. No two fights played out the exact same way. These NPCs behaved in ways I never thought they would. Moving in such unpredictable patterns, it almost doesn't seem patterned at all. So, are they alive? Kinda. They did a pretty damn good job of fooling me every once in a while. Had me second guessing myself when that sentry bot showed up at its home base after it had lost its team. I'm sure that there are many of you that have way more knowledge on this subject than I do. If anybody knows why NPCs do what they do and go where they go, post down in the comments your findings. Also, post in the comments your favorite Wasteland story. Something that made you go, huh, that felt a little too human for my liking. Go check out Any Austin's video about Fallout 3 NPCs, and if you want to see more NPC battles, there's a channel called the AI Commander, not that kind of AI, who watches all sorts of fights in Fallout. So go check out their channel if you want to see more Wasteland fights. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!